Right. We're diving into some seriously creepy stuff today.
Oh yeah, we're going deep.
We're cracking open H.P. Lovecraft's Necronomicon.
A Necronomicon. Classic.
Have you ever read any Lovecraft?
Well, even if you haven't, this deep dive will give you everything you need.
Cool.
Lovecraft's influence is huge, you know? I mean, it goes way beyond books.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you see it in movies, video games.
Wow.
He created this whole Cthulhu mythos, this web of stories.
Cthulhu mythos. Okay, that sounds intense.
It is. It's really captured people's imaginations for decades.
So this Necronomicon, it's not just like your average ghost stories, right?
No, Lovecraft, he's something else. He blends horror, sci-fi, even mysticism.
Okay.
People call it cosmic horror.
Cosmic horror, what's that?
Well, think about it this way. The fear of this vast, uncaring universe
Okay, yeah.
where humanity is just, completely insignificant.
Yeah.
That's Lovecraft's thing.
So less about jump scares, more about, like, existential dread.
Yeah.
I like it. But give me an example. Like, what's one of these weird tales that embodies this cosmic horror?
One of the most famous is The Call of Cthulhu.
Okay.
It's told through these, fragmented accounts.
Oh, interesting.
Different witnesses, so you're piecing together this horrifying puzzle.
Oh, wow.
And every piece just adds to this, overwhelming dread.
Okay.
And at the center of it all is Cthulhu.
Cthulhu.
This monstrous deity sleeping under the Pacific Ocean.
Whoa, hold on. A sleeping monster under the sea? That's pretty scary already.
It is.
So what is Cthulhu, and how does he do anything if he's sleeping?
Well, Lovecraft describes him as this, colossal creature, all tentacles and ancient power.
Okay.
But the thing is, he rarely gives you, the full picture, and that's what's so brilliant.
Really?
The horror comes from the impact, the sheer terror of knowing these things exist.
I see.
Just a glimpse, or even a dream of Cthulhu can drive you mad.
It's like the fear itself is the real monster.
Exactly.
And that idea of the unknown, things man was not meant to know.
Right.
Creepy. I was reading this blog post, by the way, by this guy, Levi Standart. He just finished the Necronomicon.
Oh, cool.
He thought the dream quest of unknown Kadath was super interesting.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
It actually connects a lot of Lovecraft's other stories.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Leng, from Mountains of Madness.
Oh, okay.
And even Pickman from Pickman's model.
Oh, wow.
You start to see all these connections in the Cthulhu mythos.
So it's all kind of tied together.
Exactly.
Standard also said it actually helped him understand a graphic novel adaptation of Lovecraft.
Oh, really? Which one?
It's called Providence.
Oh, yeah, Providence.
Yeah, it's a recent one.
Mm-hmm.
Standard said that the Dream Quest has this, different perspective.
How so?
Oh, yeah, a lot of Lovecraft stories, they end in madness or suicide, right?
Right.
But the Dream Quest, some of the characters actually find acceptance.
Acceptance of what?
Well, they kind of embrace a shift in reality.
Ah.
They find a way to, keep their sanity, even in this terrifying universe.
That's interesting. A different kind of survival, huh?
Yeah. Standard said it reminded him of the way Alan Moore explores that same idea in Providence.
Makes sense. Alan Moore really dives into those themes.
Yeah.
Standard recommends Providence.
Oh, yeah. He's a big fan. Okay, so we've got cosmic horror. We've got ancient deities, dreamscapes. What else does Lovecraft throw at us in this collection?
Well, let's take a look at The Outsider.
Okay.
This one's a bit different.
How so?
It's more focused on psychological horror.
Okay.
Imagine someone who's lived their whole life in isolation, and then they finally emerge only to discover this horrifying truth about themselves.
Whoa, that's a different kind of scary.
It is, isn't it?
Isolation, identity, those are pretty universal fears.
They are.
Yeah.
Maybe even more so than giant sea monsters.
Ah, right.
Lovecraft was a master,
Oh, yeah?
He could explore all these different shades of fear within his brand of horror.
This Necronomicon sounds wild.
It is.
So what's the next story?
Dagon.
Dagon. Okay, let's hear it.
Dagon it's really something. Lovecraft, he knows how to make things terrifying.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he doesn't even need a lot of description.
Uh-huh.
So it follows this guy. He escapes a German sea raider during World War I.
Oh, wow.
And he ends up adrift in the Pacific.
Oh, man. Talk about isolation.
Yeah.
Like being stranded at sea, that's scary enough.
Right.
But then you throw in Lovecraftian monsters.
Exactly.
So what happens to this guy?
Well, his boat drifts to this strange island, a brand new island. It's like a desolate wasteland, all mud. And he finds this giant monolith covered in these bizarre carvings. And as he gets closer, this huge scaly creature emerges from the sea.
Whoa, hold on. Dagon.
Dagon.
A fish-like deity.
Oh, okay.
Like the primal power of the ocean.
I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Does he actually talk to Dagon?
No, he catches a glimpse.
Oh, okay.
But it's enough.
Yeah.
Enough to shatter his sanity. He gets rescued eventually.
Okay.
But he's haunted.
I see.
By the experience. Convinced that Dagon and these other ancient beings are down there, lurking in the depths.
So even just seeing this cosmic horror, it can, like, break you.
It can.
The fear is a curse in itself.
Pretty much.
That's a rough way to start this collection. What's the next one?
The next story is the statement of Randolph Carter.
Okay.
And this one, it introduces one of Lovecraft's most recurring characters.
Oh, cool.
It's a short story, but it's really effective. It's all about this terrifying expedition into an ancient graveyard.
Oh, a graveyard at night. Classic. What are they looking for in this graveyard? Something a lot darker than buried treasure. Carter and his friend, Harley Warren, they're searching for a hidden chamber. There are these rumors that it holds this, like, ancient forbidden knowledge.
Okay.
So they descend into the graveyard with just a lantern and a telephone.
A telephone. That's an interesting choice.
Yeah, it's for communication.
So what happens down there in the depths?
Everything goes wrong pretty much immediately.
Oh, no.
This, like, heavy dread just fills the air, and Carter starts hearing these strange noises through the phone.
Okay.
Warren's voice, it gets all distant and distorted. Something terrible is happening, but Carter, he's just stuck listening. He can't do anything.
Oh, that's a nightmare. Being trapped and hearing, like, the echoes of your friend's terror.
Yeah.
So what does he hear? What happens to Warren?
Well, Warren's voice, it becomes frantic, filled with this, like, unimaginable terror. And then the phone line goes dead.
Oh.
Carter runs from the graveyard, but he's haunted by what he heard. We never find out what happened to Warren. Just the chilling statement Carter gives to the police.
That's the worst kind of horror.
It is.
The kind that leaves you with, like, questions.
Yeah.
And just this, like, dread that just hangs there. Okay,
Yeah.
wait, I need something a little less intense after that one. What's next?
Let's move on to something a little pulpier. Herbert West Reanimator.
Reanimator. I feel like I've heard that before.
Yeah, it's been adapted a lot, and for good reason.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's this wild ride full of these horrifying experiments.
Isn't there a movie? Or a few movies?
Yeah, there are a few. It's definitely got more of an action feel to it.
Yeah.
But it still has Lovecraft's, blend of horror, science, and cosmic dread.
Cool.
So it follows Herbert West. He's this medical student. And he's obsessed with, conquering death.
Okay.
He creates this serum that can bring corpses back to life.
Mad scientist stuff.
Totally. But, things don't exactly go as planned.
I was going to say, I bet they don't. So what happens when he brings the dead back?
Well, they're not exactly perfect.
Yeah.
They come back as these mindless, grotesque monsters.
Yeah.
Driven by, like, these primal urges.
I knew it.
The story shows West's descent into madness. His obsession just, like, spirals out of control.
Oh, I bet.
And it leads to some pretty horrific consequences.
I can see why this one's so popular. It's got everything.
Yeah.
Mad scientist, reanimated corpses, and I'm guessing there's some gore in there.
Yeah. Let's just say messing with life and death, it can get pretty gruesome. It's a reminder, I think, that some things are best left alone.
Absolutely. So we've had sea monsters, we've had creepy graveyards, we've had reanimated corpses. What else does Lovecraft have for us in this Necronomicon?
Well, next we get into the occult with the Hound.
Okay.
It's about these two guys. They're obsessed with collecting macabre artifacts, relics of the supernatural. They think they're, above the laws of nature, above morality.
Uh-oh. Sounds like a recipe for disaster. So what kind of artifacts are we talking about?
Well, their obsession leads them to steal this jeweled amulet from the tomb of this, like, long-dead sorcerer.
Okay.
It's supposed to have this powerful curse on it.
And of course, they ignore the warnings.
Of course. They don't believe it.
Classic. So what happens when they open this tomb? Do they unleash a mummy's curse or something?
Not a mummy, but something just as terrifying. They unleash this spectral hound from beyond the grave.
A spectral hound. Okay, that's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why Lovecraft chose a hound.
Yeah.
Does their arrogance, like, lead to their downfall?
That's a good question.
Do they escape the hound?
I don't want to spoil the ending.
Okay, fair enough.
But the hound, I think it shows us that, some things are best left alone.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to the occult.
Right.
The pursuit of this forbidden knowledge, it can be deadly.
Okay, you've definitely piqued my interest. We've covered some pretty intense Lovecraftian horror. What's next?
Next, we're going into a New England town with the rats in the walls.
The rats in the walls. Okay, I'm intrigued.
We're going to explore themes of isolation, inherited madness, dark secret.
The title alone is giving me the creeps. Let's hear it. All right. The rats in the walls. You mentioned like inherited madness and dark secrets. Sounds kind of gothic. What's the story about?
It's about this guy, Delapour. He inherits this old manor in England. It's called Exham Priory.
Okay.
It had been abandoned for centuries, after all these gruesome events. But Delapour, he wants to restore it.
Oh, I bet that doesn't go well. A creepy old manor. Come on. What kind of strange things happen?
Well, he starts hearing these scratching noises inside the walls.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah, and he has these vivid dreams, really unsettling, filled with images of the past.
Oh, so it's like the house is trying to tell him something. Does he ever figure out what's causing the scratching?
He does. But the truth is, it's way more horrifying than he could have imagined.
I bet.
He finds all these tunnels and chambers under the manor, and they're infested with rats.
Okay, rats in the walls, that made sense. But there's got to be more to it than just rats. What else does he find down there?
Well, let's just say he finds evidence of what his ancestors were doing. Really gruesome, depraved stuff.
Ooh, okay. So it's not just a haunted house story. It's about, like, facing the darkness within, huh? The sins of the past.
Yeah, exactly. It's about that dark legacy.
Wow, that's heavy. So we go from the horrors of the universe to the horrors of human history.
That's Lovecraft for you.
And it ends on a bleak note, like a lot of his stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes you think about the horrors that might be hidden just beneath the surface.
Right. And you know what? Even though Lovecraft's style can be tough, and there are some controversies about his views,
Yeah.
his work still resonates with people. I mean, look how many creators he's inspired. He really left his mark on horror and sci-fi and just, like, cosmic dread in general.
Yeah, I did. He blended those genres like no one else.
This has been a wild ride through the Necronomicon. We've covered it all. Ancient deities, reanimated corpses, spectral hounds, even the darkness inside us all.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. Lovecraft really knew how to tap into some primal fears.
Oh, yeah.
And even though his vision can be pretty bleak, I think there's something about facing those fears,
What do you mean?
Well, exploring the dark corners of our imaginations, I think it can be strangely comforting.
Maybe it helps us feel less alone in the darkness.
Yeah, maybe. So for those of you brave enough to dive into Lovecraft's world, the Necronomicon is a great place to start.
Just be prepared to lose some sleep.
Exactly. And that concludes our deep dive into the Necronomicon. Until next time, happy reading, and try to keep those tentacles at bay.